In 2016, the biggest equipment manufacturer in golf didn't panic because of a breakthrough from Nike or a new driver from TaylorMade. They panicked because of a grocery store. Costco quietly released a golf ball under their Kirkland signature brand. It cost $15 for 2 dozen. That's roughly 60 cents a ball. For context, the gold standard Titleist Pro V1 trades for nearly $5 a ball. Usually, sheet balls feel like hitting a rock. But then the data came in. Independent labs put the K-Sig on the robot, and the numbers were terrifying. The spin rates, the compression, the distance. It wasn't just good for the price. It was chemically almost identical to the balls pros were using on Sunday. A Cushnet Titleist parent company didn't applaud the competition. They called their lawyers. They fired off a massive patent infringement lawsuit, claiming Costco had stolen the blueprint to their crown jewel. This wasn't a dispute about rubber. It was a battle for the soul of an $84 billion industry that relies on you believing you need to spend premium money to play. Costco proved that was a lie. But while the lawyers were fighting over patents, a much louder war was starting on the fairways. And the first shot wasn't fired with a club, it was fired with a sweater vest. If you walked into a country club 10 years ago, the uniform was non-negotiable. Khaki pants, tucked-in polo. Boring, safe. Enter Stephen Malbon. He wasn't a pro golfer. He was a marketing guy from LA. He looked at golf and didn't see a sport. He saw a branding vacuum. He realized that while NBA fans wore cool streetwear, golf fans were dressing like their grandfathers. He launched Malbon Golf with a simple, arrogant premise: invest in golf. He sold hoodies and bucket hats that looked more like Supreme drops than golf attire. The establishment hated it, and that's exactly what Malbon wanted. The tension snapped at the 2024 Masters. Jason Day, a former world #1, walked onto the grounds of Augusta National wearing a Malbon championship vest. It was baggy, it was loud, it violated the unwritten rules of the most controlled environment in sports. Mid-round, Augusta officials reportedly politely asked Jason Day to take the vest off. He complied. He folded it up and put it in his bag. In the old world, that's a humiliation. In the new economy, it was a jackpot. Images of the banned vest flooded social media. Malbon didn't have to pay for that exposure. The controversy generated millions in free marketing and helped them secure a $28 million funding round. They proved that hate clicks sell polos. But while Malbon was dressing the players up, another company was stripping the game down to its raw, invisible data. Golf used to be a game of feel. You hit the ball, watched it fly, and guessed how far it went. Then came the Danish military. The founders of Trackman realized the physics of a ballistic missile and a 300-yard drive are nearly identical. You just need a Doppler radar that can see a spinning object moving at 180 miles per hour. They built a small orange box. At first, it was just for coaches. But then, they captured the networks. If you watch golf on TV today, you see that colorful line tracing the ball's flight. You see the ball speed and spin rate flashing instantly. That is Trackman. They didn't just build a product, they built a monopoly on truth. Today, Trackman generates estimated revenue of over $175 million annually. But the real genius was selling to the amateurs. They convinced every driving range and simulator bar that they needed this tech. If a rich amateur takes a lesson and the instructor doesn't have that orange box, the amateur feels cheated. They don't trust the instructor, they trust the box. Trackman made data addictive. They created a world where you can't just enjoy a shot, you have to quantify it. But making golf fun isn't just about radar numbers. Sometimes it's about shotgunning beers at 9 a.m. For decades, golf media was televised Xanax, hushed tones, whispering announcers. Then Barstool Sports looked at the demographics. They saw that the people actually playing on weekends weren't 70-year-old retirees. They were guys in their 20s who were terrible at the game, gambled on every hole, and drank while they played. Barstool launched the Foreplay podcast with a strategy that changed sports media. They decided to be bad at golf. Riggs, the host, wasn't a swing coach. He was a guy trying to break 90. They filmed matches against pros, highlighting how impossible the game actually is. It was relatable, and it exploded. But here is the money. They didn't just sell ads. They created an ecosystem. They launched the Barstool Classic, An amateur tour where entry fees are hundreds of dollars, and it sells out in minutes. They move millions in merchandise stamped with their logos. They prove you don't need the PGA Tour's permission to make a fortune. You just need an audience that's tired of being told to tuck in their shirts. However, turning a gentleman's game into a frat party has consequences. Nowhere is that more obvious than in the Arizona desert. How does a garbage disposal company become the coolest brand in sports? Waste Management, now WM, is a trash company. But once a year, they turn the Phoenix Open into a rock concert. They focus their marketing budget on the 16th hole, building a literal coliseum around a tiny par 3. When a player hits a good shot, the crowd roars. When they hit a bad one, they get booed. And when someone makes a hole-in-one, it rains beer. Literally. It worked too well. The tournament became the highest attended event in golf, with over 700,000 people. It became a bucket list party for people who don't even like golf. But in 2024, the Jenga tower wobbled. The crowds were so massive and unruly that on Saturday, fire marshals stepped in. They slammed the gates shut. Ticket holders were locked out. Alcohol sales were cut off. People were sliding down mud hills and passing out in bunkers. The greenest show on grass turned into a dangerous riot. WM created a monster that grew too big to control, proving there is a hard limit to how much party golf can handle before it breaks. But while the masses were sliding in the mud, the 1% were checking the time on watches that cost more than most people's houses. If you watch a post-round interview, watch the winner's left hand. Before they lift the trophy, they put on their watch. Rolex has always been there, but the real disruptor is Audemars Piguet, or AP. A decade ago, AP was a stuffy Swiss watchmaker. Then they bet the house on golf. They signed a roster of young guns and marketed the Royal Oak not as a dress watch, but as a lifestyle icon. Golf became the primary vehicle for flex culture. During the COVID boom, secondary market prices for these watches tripled. A steel Royal Oak was trading for $80,000. Why? Because golf is the only sport where amateurs can wear the exact same gear as the pros. You can't wear an NFL helmet to work, but you can wear the same watch Phil Mickelson wears. It was the ultimate status symbol. But status symbols are fragile. When the economy tightened, the watch market softened. The bubble deflated. Relying on a volatile asset class to market luxury goods hurts like hell on the way down. Speaking of bubbles bursting, we have to talk about the company that claimed they were going to save golf, right before they lost half their value. For years, the headline was, "Golf is dying. It took too long. It was too hard." Then came Topgolf. They took the boring driving range, added microchips to the balls, heaters in the bays, and a full bar. Suddenly, you didn't need to be a golfer to go to Topgolf. It was a bowling alley for the 21st century. It was printing cash. In 2021, Callaway Golf merged with Topgolf in a deal valuing the venue business at roughly $2.5 billion. The plan was perfect. Get people drunk at Topgolf, then sell them Callaway irons. Until it wasn't. Building a Topgolf venue cost $15 million. When interest rates spiked, the cost of that debt skyrocketed. Simultaneously, revenge spending dried up. People stopped going out for $50 appetizers. The stock tanked. In late 2025, Callaway announced plans to spin off Topgolf. The marriage was over. The brand that was supposed to be the savior of golf became a financial anchor. Just because people like hitting balls doesn't mean the business model is bulletproof. But if Topgolf was a failure of strategy, the next brand is a lesson in brute force. We can't talk about money without talking about the elephant made of gold bars. LIV Golf didn't just try to start a new tour. They tried to franchise the sport. In the NFL, teams are valuable assets. In golf, players were independent contractors. LIV changed that. They created teams, smashed GC, fireballs, and gave equity to the captains. The pitch to players was simple. Come play for us, and one day you won't just be an athlete. You'll be the owner of a billion-dollar franchise. It sounds insane, a golf team? But the disruption was real. They poured billions into the ecosystem, forcing the PGA Tour to panic. Here is the twist. LIV's model relies on the idea that these teams will one day be sold to private equity. If that happens, the players who took the risk will see a payday that makes their tournament winnings look like pocket change. If it fails, it's the biggest money pit in sports history. They are currently negotiating a peace treaty with the PGA Tour, but the DOJ is watching. The future of the sport hangs on whether these made-up team brands can actually hold value. We have stacked the Jenga blocks, the cheap balls, the streetwear, the radar, the watches, the oral money, but none of this exists without one man, Tiger Woods. For 27 years, Tiger was the brand. He was Nike Golf. Nike paid him hundreds of millions, and he made the swoosh synonymous with winning. But in 2024, the unthinkable happened. Tiger and Nike split. It felt like the end of an era, but it was actually the final evolution of the golfer as a corporation. Tiger didn't sign with another brand. He launched his own, Sunday Red. He realized what Malbon and LIV had figured out. Why rent your fame when you can own the equity? The logo is a tiger skeleton. It represents 15 majors. The prices are high. The launch was rocky. But this is the top of the tower. When the biggest athlete in history decides he is bigger than the biggest apparel company in the world, the transformation is complete. Golf is no longer a game. It is a portfolio of assets. So, look at the wreckage. Costco broke the pricing model. Malbon broke the dress code. Trackman broke the mystery. Barstool broke the silence. And LIV broke the loyalty. These brands took a sleepy, polite game and turned it into a high-voltage commercial battlefield. They made golf richer, louder, and faster. But you have to ask yourself, did they save the game by making it cool, or did they hollow it out, turning a sport of integrity into a hustle for franchise valuations? There is a fine line between modernization and exploitation, and right now, golf is dancing right on that edge. Let me know in the comments, are you buying the $15 Costco balls, or are you sticking with the establishment? I'll see you there.